Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, episode number 135. Thank you for joining us as we elevate the Black Entrepreneur Experience by interviewing CEOs, thought leaders, innovative thinkers, and Black entrepreneurs across the globe. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards, and we have with us today an amazing Dr. Radisha Brown. She's in Augusta. She's a licensed therapist, wellness expert, and a two-time best-selling author. She's CEO of Holistic Living with Dr. Radisha and is known as a mental weightologist. Wow, that is really impressive. Welcome, Dr. Brown. How are you?
Thank you. I so appreciate you, Dr. Richards, for allowing me to be a part of your show. You're doing amazing things with the show. But yes, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
You know what? I've given our audience such a brief bio about you. Why don't you fill in the gaps and share with us what you'd like us to know about you and your company?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, my name is Dr. Radisha Brown. I'm here in Augusta, Georgia, not too far from Atlanta, if you guys are familiar with Georgia. I am a mental health therapist, wellness expert, and recent best-selling author, 2 times back-to-back. The first time with my signature book, Girl, Get Off the Couch, Stop the Self-Hate and Lose the Weight. And then as a part of a collaborative project called The Queen Experience, Guide to Playing Your Royal Position. So I am really, really thankful and happy, but I specialize in helping women that are suffering from weight issues as well as mindset issues. Saying it a different way, I help women that are dealing with depression and weight. And I love what I do. I am a former big girl myself, and I've used the knowledge and skills that I've learned through my personal journey, but also my professional for a great marriage as I help women overcome their struggles.
Dr. Brown, how do you go from a licensed therapist to helping with weight loss?
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting journey that I've had. I actually started my professional career in business, if you can believe. So I worked in corporate America for quite a number of years. But during that time, I was really depressed. I was tremendously overweight and just didn't like the person I saw in the mirror every day. So through my own process of learning to what it took to lose the weight and seeking therapy myself, I was inspired to help other people. And with that, I created Holistic Living with Dr. Radisha. And so many therapists can talk with you about weight issues, can talk to you about anxiety and depression and, whatever symptoms you're experiencing. But what makes me unique is that I focus my practice around weight, because that's the thing that bothers us the most. That's the most obvious problem. And what I teach women is weight is actually a side effect for something else. And that something else is generally how we think and feel about ourselves. Certainly it was the case for me, and that's certainly the case for many women that are struggling with weight issues. So it was from my own personal experience that I ventured into this business. It certainly was not a plan, but so many people came to me, how'd you do it? How do I do it? And it was from all my friends and family that asking me. I said, well, I need to create a business to help people and have a formal process around it.
Talk about being a woman of color, African-American woman in therapy and going to therapy.
Yeah, so I'll talk about it from 2 perspectives. One, as a client, finding a therapist that understood my needs, that understood my background, that understood how I spoke and the cultural factors that influenced so many African Americans to not go to therapy, because we're taught at such a young age, especially in the South. I'm a Jesus girl, and most people here are churchgoers. We're taught to take your problems to Jesus and nobody else. And what happens in the house stays in the house. So you grew up in a culture that penalizes you or looks at you as something's wrong with you if you seek professional help. If you say, hey, I'm not feeling well, or I'm sad and you need to see a therapist, that's really frowned upon. There's a lot of stigma attached to it. So for me, going to see a therapist took enormous courage. It took me recognizing that I needed this for me and not being ashamed or afraid to go and get it. So that is a challenge. And from that as well, being a Black therapist, I hear all the time, there's not a lot of us. The image of a therapist is a white lady. If you ask most people, what does a therapist look like? It's certainly not me, for so many reasons. And I wanted to change that dynamic. I wanted to change that viewpoint. I wanted to change and do what I hadn't seen done when in the marketplace. I wanted to show my community that, guess what? There are Black therapists. There are amazing Black therapists. We're here to support you, and there's no shame in coming to get help. And with that also is encouraging the Black community to come and get help, because we are sick, we are in pain, and we're using food, which was my drug of choice. We're using alcohol, we're using drugs, we're using hypersexuality, we're using everything else to dull the pain instead of dealing with the pain.
So, Dr. Brown, did you see a therapist before or after becoming a therapist yourself?
It was after. It was before and after becoming a therapist. When I the first time I saw a therapist, I was actually in college working on my master's degree at the time, and just felt tremendously overwhelmed. I was crying all the time, and I didn't really understand why. It was hard for me to get out of the bed, even though I love school. I love learning. I've always loved learning. And I didn't quite know what was going on with me. And I had an internship working within a therapist's office, and my supervisor at the time that was training me, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I started to tell her all the symptoms I had, and I was like, I just don't know. Everything's really tough for me. I feel like I'm underwater, and I'm just trying to catch my breath, but I don't understand, because I went to the doctor and they said everything's fine. But I just feel like I can't catch my breath. And she said, "You really need to see somebody and talk to somebody. What you're dealing with is mental health issues and symptoms. That's a classic symptoms of depression." So I was like, wow. And then first time I go in the therapist's office, I'm like crying. I'm just like telling her a lot of things that happened to me as a child. I'm a foster kid. I grew up in the foster system in the state of South Carolina, and I talked about a lot of trauma that happened during my time there, and never feeling good enough or loved or special, or always feeling like I'm on alert, because as a foster kid, you're not in a stable home. You can be moved at any time. And so I've carried all of that with me, and it just came full circle as I was learning and to help other people when, in fact, I was broken myself.
So what do you do now to stay fit mentally and physically?
Oh, that's a great question. First thing I do is I recognize when I'm not feeling well. So an important part of your health journey, your mental health journey, and your overall health journey is being able to recognize when something's different. People are always asking me, do I need a therapist? And my first question to them is, do you feel different? What's changed? Why are you asking? What has changed in your life? And the important piece to that is you're the expert in your life. We're constantly looking for professionals like myself, like, oh, Dr. Radisha will be able to tell me, or this medical doctor will tell me. You are the expert in your life. You know you're living it. You know that you can't get out of bed and you haven't been out of bed in 4 days. You know, like I knew, I slept, I ate on my couch over and over and over again. I knew I was gaining weight. Nobody had to tell me. I knew I was gaining weight. I knew that I ate fried chicken and burgers and French fries and pizza. I knew it. Nobody else knew it because I ate in secret. I ate alone when I wasn't feeling good. So the first piece is recognizing that something has changed. And the second piece to that is having the courage. And I say courage because it does take courage to say and to make a step forward to getting professional help in whatever area of your life you need that help. If it's seeing a therapist, if it's seeing a nutritionist, if it's seeing a medical doctor, whatever that area is, making a step forward in seeing that therapist or professional. 4 major areas of my life that keep me in balance, that I'm always managing and that I'm always aware of. The first thing is, 1, my mind. Keeping my mind on positive images, positivity, which includes affirmations. I say my affirmations every day. And for those of you that don't know what affirmations are, they're just positive statements to help me refill my tank, because going through life, your tank is gonna get low at times. You're gonna have negative experiences. You're gonna have arguments with your family members. You're gonna have issues at work. But you have to start from a place of fullness, basically building yourself up, because if you are already empty and you are dealing with those negative interactions or people, then guess what? You're not going to have nothing to pull from. And you're going to choose and look for other things to fill your tank back up. And those other things are generally not healthy options. So I keep my mind on positive in whatever areas I need to. I keep myself spiritually balanced. When I say spiritually balanced, I understand and know that in order for balance and wholeness in your life, you have to believe in something beyond yourself. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to be a Jesus girl like me, but what I'm telling you is the tenet of life, the tenet of oneness, the tenet of balance requires us to understand there's something beyond what we see in this life. And every group, every change process talks about having a higher power, because as you're going through changes and difficulties and struggles, you need something more than what you see in front of you. So keeping that relationship in balance is so important. So I pray, I read my Bible, I write about biblical principles. I have to keep my spirit in balance. The other thing is my body. My body is a temple. My body is important, because guess what? I only get one. Like we don't get more than one, and we need to value it and take care of that one so that we can be around as long as possible. And what I like to tell my clients, you deserve to have the best life possible. You deserve to give yourself the best chance possible to fight illness and disease of the mind, disease of the body. And in order to do that, you have to take care of your body, and you have to make that body a priority. And so part of my process in taking care of my body is watching what I eat and exercising and meditating, doing yoga, all those things that keep my body in check. And then the 4th thing for me is helping other people. That's my purpose in life. That's my higher purpose and my vision and my mission in life. And it gives me purpose. I feel grounded doing it. I feel like that's what I was meant for. And so finding as much body, mind, spirit, it is important to do, but also having a purpose and getting up every day and loving your purpose is so important. So if your purpose in life is to help people straighten out their finances, that is a purpose, because I need all the help I can get of finances. Look, I just like to help people. Somebody else deal with the math. Or if it's your purpose in life, create art projects and to be an artist, or to create music, to help to coach people in their businesses. Whatever that higher purpose and is for you, that purpose that drives you every day, that one thing you would do if you could do it for free, you would do it. That's what I say is your purpose. And so those are the 3 areas in which help to keep me whole. That's why I named the company Holistic Living, because it's whole living, because that you need all those areas to stay balanced and staying balanced, but living in balance. And so that's what I do, and that's what I help my clients to do as well.
Dr. Brown, you talked about the food that you eat as part of the your three-pronged approach to holistic living. Talk about the choices that you're making with your food specifically and your whole mental health.
Absolutely. So one of the keys to the very first item that I had to give up, and the very first item I teach my clients to reduce in their life because it causes depression, is sugar. Sugar causes depression. And I know you're probably listening to the podcast thinking, what? When did sugar start to causing depression? And because it's not something we're taught as traditionally trained therapists, it is not something that the media talks about. But as a treating therapist and having all of my friends be primarily therapists with different areas of specialty, we know there's been studies that show sugar causes depression. So if you are healthy, you're feeling good, you're living, you feel in balance, and you intake a whole bunch of sugar consistently, that's sugar in the morning in our coffee, that's sugar at lunch, which as drinking a soda, that's sugar, a sugar-packed snack like a smoothie that people think are so healthy because it has a little bit of fruit in it, but it's really loaded with sugar. All of those areas, all of that sugar is linked to your depression. And if you don't believe me, I always challenge people. People are like, no, that's impossible. I don't believe you. I always say this. I have my clients journal for a week. Just journal their regular sugar-filled diet. Just journal how you feel every day. And it's usually, God, I'm so sad. I can't get off the couch. Oh, my God, I have a headache. My boss is getting on my nerve. And then I have them spend a week transitioning, bringing down the sugar. And then that second week, I said, just journal. Tell me everything you're feeling. Now you cut the sugar in half. Like, what's happening? And it's usually like, you know what? I slept a little better. And my mind is a little clearer. And I'm not as sad as I was. And I let them have an experience so that they understand, and it reinforces the impact that sugar has on your mental health. Sugar, I have a whole chapter in my book, Girl, Get Off the Couch, Stop the Self-Hate, and Lose the Weight. And literally, I called the chapter, Sugar is the Devil. Like, sugar is the devil when it comes to your mental health and when it comes to your physical health. Because sugar also is an ingredient for inflammation. So if you think about inflammation in your body and think of the root cause of every disease you can think of, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, every type illness you can think of, at the root of it is inflammation. So basically, if you have a body that's not inflamed, disease can't flourish, disease cannot be created. So reducing sugar in your diet not only helps your mental health, but it also helps you physically because it reduces inflammation. And inflammation is probably the devil's daddy because sugar causes it, and then when it's around, it creates havoc in your body. It creates headaches, it creates diabetes, and all these other things. So eliminating sugar. And I know it's hard, and people are like, what are you talking about? But making an effort to reduce the sugar content. You'll be surprised once you start listing out, and there's plenty of apps, MyFitnessPal, there's tons of apps where you can just put in your food diary and it tells you the amount of sugar that you're intaking in one day, and you would be shocked at how much sugar we're putting in our bodies.
Absolutely. And that is really key. I did the Whole30 about, I want to say 2 years ago. And for those that don't know, it's a whole foods type diet. And one of the things that they talk about is, and the thing that they say about the Whole30, it's not really a diet. They call it like an elimination diet. And I gave up sugar, and I had wanted to give up sugar. And it is amazing if you start reading labels, how much sugar we ingest in our bodies. And I can tell you now, Dr. Brown, I'm not saying that I'm sugar proof, but I am so much better. I mean, when I say that I used to eat sugar, I'm talking about gummy bears and chocolate covered raisins and stuff like that. I'm talking about pure sugar. And that is one of the things I've discovered is that when you eat a lot of sugar, it impacts you for hot flashes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it impacts your hormonal system. Absolutely.
And I mean, huge. So since I've given up sugar, and if I eat sugar, I literally break out in a sweat now like a pig.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, I'm just like staying away from that. Dr. Brown, tell us, what does self-care look like to you?
Oh, that's such a great question. Self-care for me looks like I am making myself a priority. Sometimes people think of self-care as an action word where you are like massages and spa items and things like that. But self-care at the heart of it is making a choice every day to make yourself a priority. And women especially are really horrible at doing that. They immediately feel guilty. They feel like, oh my God, no, I have to make my kids or my spouse or people in my church, my community members, everybody else a priority. But what happens in that situation is you deplete all your reserve, you empty your cup, and then you have nothing to give those people that you dearly love. So you deserve to be a whole person. And in order to do that, you have to make yourself a priority. You have to make a priority doing your morning rituals. You have to make it a priority doing your gratitude. You have to make it a priority to reduce the sugar in your life, because when you're healthy, you have a much better relationship with people. You are able to be there in all the ways you want to be there for them. So for me, every day I remind myself that I'm important and that I'm a priority no matter what's going on, no matter how chaotic life can be, and it can be chaotic at times, no matter how many people are waiting to see me or coming to my book signing and the lines are so long, no matter what is going on, I have to, in that moment, remember that I am a priority and to not deplete all the reserve I have to deal with life.
Why do you do what you do?
Oh man, it's my calling. I cannot think of anything else in this world I can or should be doing. And I've had opportunities in the corporate world, and I've had success there and some other ventures that I've engaged in. But helping women just makes me smile, makes me happy to be a part of their story for transformation. Because not only am I helping that person, that woman, I help their child, I help their husband, I help all the other people in their lives that they touch, because they're healthier, they're happier, they're working towards balance and on their road to happiness. And I get to be a part of their story. Like, do you know how amazing that is? Because stories last forever. Unfortunately, we don't last forever. We all have a expiration date, if you will. But those stories will last forever. And it's always been my intention, my mission, my vision is just to be a part of their story.
What is your greatest fear?
My greatest fear is not helping somebody that needs me. That literally keeps me up at night. Not providing the program that they need, not running out of books, not being available to take a call, and they need me, and then they make a permanent decision that we cannot take back. And so when you're dealing with the mind and when you're dealing with mental health, it is a very serious topic. It is life and death at times. As a clinician, I worked in the emergency room, and I specialized in working with people that either attempted to commit suicide or made a plan to commit suicide. And so I am always reminded that as much as I want to help women focus on weight, what I'm really doing is helping to save their lives.
Tell us a song title that would best describe you or your brand.
Oh, that's a good question. Ooh, you got me on that. Let me think. Okay, so my brand is very fun. I'm always laughing. It's going to be a female empowerment. I don't know, the only thing that comes to mind for me is All the Single Ladies. All the Single Ladies with Beyonce. Because it's all women at every wedding that I go to. That's always played. We laughing, we having a good time, we're enjoying each other, and it's just about us in that moment. It's not about what we need to be doing. or what we not doing, but we just enjoying each other's company in that moment. And that's really what it's about for me.
Dr. Brown, how do you keep your happy in this
Oh,
journey?
Man, just helping other people, having the support. Oh, man, my family and friends are just so amazing, and they help to keep me grounded. They'll, when I'm exhausted because I've been traveling and doing, helping people, they'll go get me something to eat. Like, I am tremendously blessed, and at the end of the day, I'm serving a higher power. I'm serving, like I said, I'm a Jesus girl, and so I am doing His work, and it makes me very, very happy.
Speaking of eating, share your favorite healthy food or meal.
Oh, I always do a YouTube or a video on this for the folks in my Facebook group, but I always do cauliflower rice stir fry, and I make it different versions of it because here in the South, we believe rice, specifically white rice, needs to be a breakfast item, a lunch item, and a dinner item all in the same day. so we'll eat it with eggs in the morning, and then we'll eat it with chicken at lunch, and then for dinner we'll eat it with beans or something. And so and that's how I ate for many, many years. That's how I gained all that weight and, was feeling depressed. So it is a staple. So cauliflower rice stir fry, and I make different soups with cauliflower rice because for me here, especially in the South, I'm teaching my the people that follow me. I'm teaching the women that I'm helping that you can make simple replacements in your diet. You can still get the feeling and desire, but you're also having a healthy, balanced meal. So I'm constantly reminding us that we don't need to eat rice with everything, and that cauliflower rice is a great substitute for regular rice. So cauliflower rice stir fry, and I make it with onions and mushroom and peppers and green beans and with some garlic and some ginger, and with a little bit of olive oil, and I stir it up, and it's so good. It's so good. And so I make different versions of that for the folks.
Tell us what you are most grateful for right now in your life.
Oh, man. I'm just grateful to be alive. I'm telling you, there was a time in my life when I was tremendously depressed and eating tremendously unhealthy. I went to the doctor. The doctor pretty much told me that I was on the road to death. Like he was like, every blood number every lab that came back said was horrible. Like everything was red. And he told me that I was on my way to death. Like for sure, no question. I kept eating like that. I would not continue because I was stressing my heart. I was stressing my knees. I was stressing my back. And he told me that I would not be here. Without a doubt. And so each day I'm alive, I'm grateful for the opportunity to still be alive, because certainly if I had remained on the couch, I wouldn't be here to help so many women. And some of the comments that come back, and when I meet them and they're telling me how that was them and how I've inspired them to get off the couch, and now they're walking, now they're drinking water, now they're changing their lifestyle. And I am tremendously overwhelmed and grateful for that experience. And so just be able to be alive is a great thing for me, because there was a time I would not have been alive.
How long did it take for your transformation?
It was a process, so it wasn't overnight, but for a full transformation for the 80 plus pounds, it was about 2 years. It took about 2 years.
Talk about that journey. Did you get on the journey and not get off, or did you have some detours?
Oh, man, absolutely. You plan for those. Those are people who, again, one of the chapters in my book is called Perfect is the Enemy of Good, because we think when we're starting a healthy lifestyle, I don't use the word diet, but I say healthy lifestyle. When we're starting a healthy lifestyle, we immediately think, oh, my God, I can never have sweet tea ever again in my life. And for me, I lived on sweet tea. And or I can never have bread again, or I can never have these things. And the first time I had sweet tea after not having it for like 2 months, I felt guilty. I felt horrible. I was like, here I go again. I'm going to gain the weight I just lost. But then I made a decision. I made a simple decision that even when I go left, that's what I call it. When I go left and eat things that I've chosen not to add to be a part of my diet, then I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to get back I'm going to go right back into the next stage of my healthy living program. And that's why I call it my healthy living program. It's not anybody else's, it's mine, because I'm putting the foods in there that's for me and it's individualized. So that's what I teach my clients is my healthy living program is not you plan for detours, if you will, on the journey. That's why I say it's a journey, not a destination. So you're going to go this way sometimes, you're going to go that way, but you're making progress. You're making progress.
What advice, Dr. Brown, you wish you'd follow?
When I was on the couch eating and not doing anything for myself, I wish that I had listened to myself and others that I was special, that I was unique, that I was worthy, that I was loved. And for so long, I didn't feel those things. And I felt like I wasted so much time on that couch holding on to past hurts. But that experience taught me how I could best help other people. So that was the advice that I wish I had gotten years ago, like way years ago, that simply that I was worthy and I was enough, that I didn't need to look different, that dark chocolate is okay, which is, and that's okay. My accent is okay, and for a long time I did everything to mask who I was because I thought I needed to be somebody different. But if I could go back, and that's the thing I would change, that's the advice I would take heed and listen to.
What problem exists in the world today that you'd like to solve?
Ooh, the problem that people don't think they're enough. People don't think they're enough. They think they need, especially women, they need to get liposuction. They need to get butt lifts. They need to get all these enhancements because simply they do not believe they're enough. I mean, if you think about all the major conflicts we've had in our lives, at the root of it is somebody feeling unseen, somebody feeling not important. And so they're doing other things to get your attention, to get that level of importance. And so that's the one thing I would change. Because if we're all confident, we believe in ourselves, and we believe we're enough, that's a different world. That's a different community.
Talk to a younger you. What advice would you give to a younger you?
Oh, man. I would say, Radisha, get off the couch. Get off the couch. And understand that you have a specific journey, just like we all do. That God wants to use all of us for our unique talents that we have, and stop spending so much time looking at what you don't have. Like, for so long, I thought the way that I would touch the world, the way I would reach the world was through singing. And I prayed every day. I was like, Lord, I just want a voice. And I prayed, I was like, I just want a voice. I feel like if I could sing, all my problems would go away. And of course, I didn't get the singer's voice. I cannot carry a tune. But he gave me a different kind of voice, a voice to help people, a voice to help healing. And so when we're spending so much time looking at the things that we don't have, we miss the gifts that we do. We miss the gifts that we do. So it's so important to remind ourselves of the amazing gifts that we have and utilize those gifts. So those gifts are what we're meant to use on this journey in life.
So if I hear you correctly, you know how to make a joyful noise?
Yeah. Now, when I'm doing karaoke, you cannot tell me I can't sing. I'm the best karaoke singer, off tune, lyrics all messed up that you will find. But the reality is that I am no singer.
Dr. Brown, if someone wrote a book about you today, what would they learn about you that they don't know?
Something that they don't know. Probably a lot of people who do not know that I worked in a prison. People would be very surprised to learn that I was a prison counselor. And that's always very shocking when I share that with people that I'm meeting. And they're like, what kind of prison? Like a summer camp? And I'm like, No, level 5, hardened criminals, murderers, rapists, tax fraud, you name it, it was there in Georgia. So that was a unique experience that gave me a passion to help kids. That helped provide me clinical training on my journey. And most people would be really shocked to learn that's probably another book, what I learned in prison.
Who are your top 2 influencers in your life, and what lessons did they teach you?
My grandmother. My grandmother is absolutely hands down number 1. She's passed on now. She passed on when I was about 9 years old. But she taught me about the Lord. She taught me about Jesus and having faith and understanding that no matter what, that I was special and that I had a purpose in life. And it didn't matter that we were poor, that we were filled with what was most important, which was love. My grandmother, hands down, without a doubt, the biggest influence in my life. I dedicate my book to her, Girl, Get Off the Couch. Third grade education, but one of the smartest women I've ever met in my life. Smartest women I've ever met in my life. And she had so much that she overcame, and still she was filled with grace and love and compassion for everybody. So she was number 1. Number 2, in terms of a business professional, I really, of course, Oprah's everybody's influence, but somebody here in Georgia that I really, really like and I follow, I'm like quietly stalking her. Her name is Nicole Waters of NicoleWaters.com, and she helps entrepreneurs on their journey. She has a group called Rich Friends, and she helps businesses transform to level up their business, and I just really like what she's about. I just like her energy. She's so everyday girl. She's not trying to be anybody else. She on videos with her nightcap strap on, wrapped around, and she is tremendously successful. I mean, she's sitting at the table with people, talking to people that I can only dream of one day having access to, but she's another dark chocolate, so I love her, and hopefully, our paths will cross because she's not too far from me.
We can learn from successful entrepreneurs or brands. Tell us a brand or a business that is dominating or you admire and why.
I really, really love what Oprah's doing. She's literally getting ready to launch a wellness program, and what I like most about her is that she's not afraid to go into to try new things, to do the unexpected. Like, people just expected her just to be Oprah, the talk show host. But no, Oprah is so much bigger than that. That was her introduction into the world, but that's not her complete story. And I love that because I feel like what I'm doing is my introduction to the world, but that's not all the things that I'm interested in doing and all the things that I hope to be on this journey. And so I really love what she's doing, and shout out to Oprah because she definitely proven why she will forever be the queen.
She's very powerful, and she's not afraid to reinvent herself, and she's not afraid to take risk. And she is truly a rags to riches story.
Yes.
So we definitely admire Oprah. What's a technology tool or technology platform that is a must-have for you in managing your business day to day?
Oh my gosh, I got so many. But ClickFunnels is amazing. A funnel marketing tool to help you reach and cultivate your relationships with your clients. So having an e-list and cultivating that e-list to help you, if you would, level up your business, to help you build those relationships. Because if Facebook and Instagram go down tomorrow, all you have, your true businesses, those folks you have on your e-list. And ClickFunnels helps you to interact with them in an efficient way so that they know you and they want to buy from you. So that's definitely a must.
If you conducted this interview, what is the one question that you would have asked yourself? And I want you to ask the question and answer it, Dr. Brown.
One question I would ask myself, what are 3 goals that you have not accomplished. And the first goal would be to create a music video talking about mental health. So I want to, I got rap lyrics and everything, and it's such a weird. I always have music. I always talk about music, so I'm moving away from singing it to rapping about it. So that's a wish list goal for me, and something I want to do. The second thing, which is probably really, really funny for everybody, but I want to appear on a cartoon episode. I like Family Guy, for example. Probably not the most appropriate cartoon at times. But I so want to appear as a therapist saying inappropriate things so people come to therapy. That's secretly a goal of mine. And then the third thing is international distribution of my book. It's something that definitely praying about and manifesting to touch people beyond the borders of the United States and helping other women in other countries to get off the couch. So if anybody listens to the podcast can help a girl accomplish these goals, listen, call me.
Dr. Brown, talk about your most memorable moment in life or business.
I think one of the most recent moments that just made me cry, that made me just tear up, was I was at Barnes & Noble's doing a book signing, and we had been there pretty much all morning, and we were closing down because I had another book signing later that afternoon. A girl get off the couch, stop herself, and lose the weight. And so my team is shutting everything down. We're packing up. We're heading out of Barnes & Noble's, and then I see this black gentleman. His name was Cowboy Willie. Cowboy Willie, he was like maybe 6'4". If those of you that don't know who I am, I'm like a little person. I'm barely 5 feet. And so I see him walk into Barnes & Noble's, and he got his big cowboy hat on, a big cowboy belt, and clearly he's Cowboy Willie. And so I see him at the corner of my eye, and I'm just like, okay, that's it. He's Cowboy, clearly. And I hear him ask one of the folks working at Barnes & Noble, he was like, I'm here looking for a Dr. Radisha. And the Barnes & Noble employee said, oh, that just happens to be her right here. And he turns around, he was like, hey, he's like towering over me. And I'm just like, hi, sir, how can I help you? And he says, my wife sent me down here and I have to get this book. And I said, your wife sent you down? He said, yeah, because for the most part, all of my book signings are just women. They're my target audience. That's who I talk to. That's who I advertise to. So when I'm sitting there and I got a 6'4" black older gentleman, Cowboy Willie, looking for me, I'm just like, okay, what did I do? And he said, yeah, my wife, we live almost an hour away from here. She sent me here. She's not feeling good, but she told me that I needed to leave the house right then, and I need to hurry up to catch you to get a copy of this book. And I was just like, I literally teared up, and I was just like, oh my God, that is so powerful, so amazing. And he's like fussing. He was like, and I got other stuff to do, but I have to come find you. You can't leave until I get this book because I can't return home without this book. She told me. And I was like, oh my God, so amazing, so amazing, so amazing. So that was just one of the most humbling, warm, heartwarming, like amazing experiences of my life. We took pictures, and I'm just like, he is like forever a part of my story, forever a part of my brand. One, for not only driving so far, but he's like scouring the mall for Barnes & Noble's and looking for me. And that was just such an amazing moment for me. And I felt like, man, that was powerful.
Thanks for sharing that beautiful story. And shout out to Cowboy Willie.
He was.
We come to the part of our interview now. It's called Fun Facts Lightning Round. And I will ask you a series of questions, and if you can answer them quickly, if it's something you desire not to answer, feel free to say pass. Are you ready, Dr. Brown, for the Fun Facts Lightning Round?
Yes, let's bring it.
The last movie you saw?
Avengers.
You relaxed doing what?
Massage.
Your favorite singer or rapper?
Oh, Method Man.
Your favorite dance song?
Oh, my favorite dance song would be Wobble.
What food you eat every week, no matter what?
Cauliflower rice.
And your favorite month?
August, my birthday month.
Dr. Brown, thank you for joining us on Black Entrepreneur Experience. Before we conclude, why don't you share with our audience where they can get your best-selling books and how they could reach out to you, and if in fact they want to connect with you and your program, how can they do that?
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me on the show. But any of your listeners, amazing listeners that want to find me, you can find me on my website, girlgetoffthecouch.com. That's girlgetoffthecouch.com. You'll have access to purchase my books. And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Dr. Radisha Brown. That's Dr. Radisha, Radisha Brown. And I would love to connect with other entrepreneurs. I'm always looking for opportunities to collaborate because I, at a core, believe that's how we win as a community, is to collaborate and complement each business. So I'm always doing some type of collaboration. So anybody willing to, if they're interested in working with me or they're interested in collaborating, I would love to have a chat.
All right, Dr. Brown, that is a wrap.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.